Hey everybody, hope you guys doing all right. So I want to go into power outages and how us building or having power lines above ground is really an inefficient, dangerous, and just like a bad way of doing things. So all right, here we go. So the most common causes for power outages are storms, trees, equipment failure, and animals. Unfortunately, squirrels are known to chew on the weather protective coating that goes around these power cables, and that when they chew into these power cables, not only is it dangerous for the squirrels, but it also leaves the power cables exposed to water, lightning, just the elements, which leads to power failure. So by putting these things underground, you would protect them from storms, you would protect them from the squirrels, you would protect them from like cars or other types of vehicles or items or objects of hitting them and knocking them down. And a lot of times, even you guys notice in these cities or even outside of the cities, they have to cut down parts of trees, if not entire trees, to make way for these power lines. So if you had them underground, you wouldn't have to do that. You might have to navigate around roots and things like this, but you won't have to cut down the whole like section of a tree, and like that energy vibration, or even like the power cords being close to the trees. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that's very good for the trees. It doesn't, like, the energy that I pick up on is not a very good energy. So just by putting them underground, you would save lives, you would help preserve our ability to access power, you would take away the squirrels, chewing on, which probably isn't very good for them. I don't know what this material is made out of, but I'm assuming it's probably relatively toxic. You would, keep them from, biting into this material, and also possibly electrocuting themselves, which, it could happen. Anyway, like I said, it would help save lives to keep the power running, which is something I think we all would want. So anyways, and then if you look into the reasons why these companies don't do it, they say it's easier to repair and maintain by having them above ground. Well, I mean, I don't even know if that's technically true, because you could just have an underground tunnel with these power cables in there, and if you needed to repair or maintain them, you could just climb down into these tunnels and repair them there. A lot of times these power companies, they got to like go up into, I mean, these cables are like what, 20, 30 feet in the air, maybe not 30 feet, but 15, 20 feet in the air. Like, that's kind of dangerous in itself. And if you just had them underground in a tunnel, you could have a section where they could easily just walk up to wherever they needed to, or you could even invent some type of a robot or remote control car that's designed to fix, the most common problems of power outages, which is probably just cables being severed or some type of issue like that. And you could do that underground. You could easily just have a remote controller, operating a remote control device that would go in there, and, he'd be trained to deal with these things. And you could have a visual camera that's showing what's going on. You have little arms and, gadgets and tools on the robot that could help fix the damaged wire. Or you could have a human being go in there and do it too. And then in that tunnel, you could also have a place for, for water lines. We could also redo our water lines, because a lot of the water lines that we use are used with pipes that have lead in them and all sorts of bad chemicals and shit that's killing us. I say killing us, making us weaker and sicker, and just just operating at a more toxic level rather than a healthier level. So, not only, we could also do that too, revolutionize the way we distribute water and power. And then you can also have an area for the emergency, water, like flooding and rainfall and any type of other, I mean, that's really it, just the flooding and the rainfall, because that can flood cities. And this is what's happening in the UK and other, I'm sure you guys have seen other cities that have been flooded, and it's absolutely devastating. But if you had like the proper precautions set up in place, which is what cities should be doing, especially if they have enough resources like we do here in America, then you could have a way to to counter these potential catastrophes. And this would also save lives, as well as keep people's power on during times of severe weather and shit like that. So anyways, and then oh yeah, so and then these companies will also tell you that it's cheaper for them to build up ground. So that's the main reason why these companies are choosing to put power outages or put power cables above grounds, because it's cheaper for them. This is another problem with free market and capitalism. It's like when you allow this type of system to flourish, people who are essentially hustlers, or people trying to exploitate things to get the most out of the money without, with the least effect, are going to do so. And then they're going to sell to the public, and then we choose to consume these things, and they develop a monopoly, and they buy out the fucking other guys trying to do the right thing. And this is what happens, because people, when an economy starts to suffer, people will buy the cheap things in order to get what they need, because otherwise they won't have anything, especially if they don't have any other options. But this is where government needs to set good regulations to not allow these type of bad companies and these bad different ways of doing things to not be allowed. But because we live in a place where capitalism is running shit, these type of companies are allowed to do these things. So Anyways, yeah, this would save lives. It would help protect equipment, and it would also help keep from squirrels from getting sick and possibly dying from eating these things, as well as trees from being cut down unnecessarily. So, yeah, all right. I love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Bye.